Hello and welcome to The Big Picture. As the US presidential elections enters the last phase, with some states having already begun voting and the final phase on November 8, the debate and discourse is turning uglier. The second of the three debates between the presidential candidates Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, held today at Washington University, St. Louis, Missouri, turned out to be unprecedented according to many analysts and commentators. The debate coming as it did on the heel of the 2005 video in which Donald Trump had bragged about his sexual exploits and spoke crudely about women, degenerated into personal attacks, with Trump even bringing in Hillary's husband, former President Bill Clinton, into it. He even went on to threaten Hillary Clinton to jail her if he became the president. Meanwhile, there have been a spate of defections from the Republican camp following the video disclosure, which Trump was desperately trying to halt through this debate, even as he tried to take on the Democratic nominee. We will discuss today the debate, why it has reached a new low, and what has been the outcome of the debate as far as the two candidates' chances are concerned. To discuss this, I have with me Meera, Shanker, former Indian ambassador to US, Prof. Chintamani Mahapatra, Chairman, Center for US, Canadian and Latin American Studies at the JNU, Manoj, Joshi, Senior Journalist and Senior Fellow, Observer Research Foundation, and from New York on the phone line is Goldberg, an attorney and a political observer, and from Washington, D.C. is Chidanand Rajghatta, foreign editor and US correspondent at the Times of India. Welcome to all of you. Meera, Shanker, in your experience of having watched US presidential elections, debates, do you think there is a new low?
Yes, it is. I think overall, this presidential election has, probably brought politics to a new low in terms of the personal attacks on the candidates and also the credibility of the candidate of the Republican Party with his own members, 160 of them, now disavowing support for him, and so many calling on him to step down at this late stage, just 1 month before the presidential election. So this, I think, is unprecedented.
Chidanand, Rajghatta, you're there?
I am.
Chido?
Yes, tell me, Girish.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. Is this some kind of a new low? We have been watching the debates, the debate and what happened after that, the debates on the US channels, and there seems to be some kind of a shock among the people about this particular debate. You think this has reached a new low?
Absolutely, without doubt. You see, the fact is there is a sort of political consensus in the U.S. There are sort of rules of engagement in the traditional political matrix, where politicians attack each other on policies and sometimes even on personal, habits and foibles, but never has it reached the kind of base low as to get into each other's sex lives or, digging up the past in such a lurid way. There was something almost, it was beyond vulgar. It was, coarse, ugly, and it was vicious. The kind of hostility that one saw on stage and also off stage, and the tactics used. What happened yesterday was essentially Trump, after his tapes of his lewd conversation surfaced, decided that he'd take the even lower road and essentially got together several women who in the past have accused Bill Clinton of sexual misconduct, and he ambushed the media with these women in the sense that here was a media which was reluctant to go down this road, and Trump invited the media, told them there would be a pre-debate presser without telling them that he was going to produce these women and have them air their past grievances, and literally sort of railroaded the issue into the mainstream media. Since everybody usually accuses the media of, highlighting sleaze, here was a case of a candidate who actually sort of brought forth all this in front, poured it out in public domain. And after that, it was downhill.
And he brought them, and he brought all three of them, and he brought all three of them to the debate today and made them sit in the front row.
Yes, well, he actually brought four women.
Four of them.
Three of them accused Bill Clinton of past sexual misconduct, and one of them was, he claimed, was a young rape victim whose rapist, Hillary Clinton, had represented as a lawyer, and he claimed that she had laughed at this young victim. So, all in all, it was very lurid, very ugly, very vicious. The bitterness was immense, and everything else kind of faded to the background. They went over familiar positions on policy whenever that surfaced. But by and large, it was all personal. And then more than anything, it was the sort of vindictiveness which he has signaled. Generally, politics in the U.S. is very genteel, particularly when presidents retire or are on the verge of retirement. Winners and losers embrace, shake hands. But it's the first time I've ever heard, and nobody else has ever heard this before, that a presidential candidate has threatened that if he wins, he will put the other, his rival in jail. And that marked another new low.
Okay. Professor Mahapatra, you think any of this will help either of the candidates? Because very interesting what happened was that, the post-debate voting, and also how is it going to help the two candidates, today's debate especially, and you think that, the general view is that Donald Trump has somehow managed to sustain himself for the next debate?
I would say that Donald Trump did not lose the debate and Hillary Clinton did not win the debate clearly. And you said this is one of the new low. I would say it is the lowest point in the evolution of American politics. On the one side, you have a person who is using the crudest of languages. On the other side, a little bit of sophistication, but attacking him below the belt. On the one side, you have somebody who has demonized communities like the Mexicans and others, African Americans, Mexicans, even the physically challenged people. On the other side, somebody who knows politics so well and the policy wonk. Then this side, you know somebody who knows nothing about the policy and he's shooting his mouth left, right, up, down. So it was one of the most lackluster and frustrating debate that I saw in last several decades.
Okay. Manoj, as far as this locker room, the locker room talk, you think that is something which the people, at least even his own voters, even his own base will be convinced about when he says that, all that which was there on that video was just a locker room talk between two boys?
Well, I thought that he actually managed to wriggle away from that controversy. In the sense, it was much more serious. Yet, by using this very convenient term, locker room, he has actually been able to sidestep this. In this debate, there could have been a killer punch, but it didn't quite come. And I think using that term, very convenient term, he has tried to put this across. On the other hand, the problem is, it's not going to convince the women. And 53% of the voters in the United States are women. And definitely, he's going to have issues there. When his own wife comes up with a comment, now, okay, that may have been structured or whatever it is. But all said and done, his wife is on record saying that she finds it offensive. So what about the voter, the 53% of the voters who are women?
Okay. Lewis, do we have you? Can you hear me? Okay, we'll get back to Lewis.
Let me suggest one line on
yes.
this. On the one side, you have a man called Donald Trump, who himself admitted that he did something wrong and he was embarrassed. Then he was talking about the husband of another candidate. Hillary Clinton did no wrong. You are bringing in your father did it, your mother did it, your husband did it. That was actually wrong.
Okay, Meera?
Certainly, I don't think this is going to endear Trump any further to women. I mean,
but as far as his own base is concerned, there is some argument going on that his own base may be satisfied with this, with what he has said. He didn't actually apologize.
His own base, is limited. It is really non-university educated white men, which is a restricted base, and that base to some extent remains quite solid with Trump, because their main reference point is their anger at being marginalized, at globalization, at technology disruption, at anxiety over immigration, and they think, you know, Trump is the anti-establishment candidate. So that base remains. But for Trump to really be credible, he has to expand his base beyond that, and that he has not succeeded in doing, because with this he offends women even more. The African American and Hispanic communities by and large remain with Hillary, because Trump has been quite abusive about them, abusive about Muslims, and so on. So I don't think he has made an effort to really broaden his base, or he's making it too little too late. So I don't know how far this will benefit him, but as of now the polls show that his own, you know, somewhat clear constituency remains with him. So Hillary has a lead of about 5 to 6%. The important thing is that she also has a lead in most of the swing states, which is where this whole battle is going to play out.
It's going to play out, okay. I think we have Lewis now on the line. Lewis, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. You know, what's your first impression of today's debate? Generally, you know, before you came in, we were discussing about how it has reached a new low. Never have we seen the kind of ugliness which has come into the debate which we saw today. But there is also an argument that Donald Trump did not rather Hillary did not rub it in as much as she could have, and you know, he has survived to face another day.
Well, I believe that she played the long game. Hillary Clinton has a lead on the swing states, as your prior speaker spoke about, and she also has a much better ground game, as they say, than Trump. That is better organization. So you can probably count on another point or two by her getting out the vote, and I think she just played it safe. She was going to stick with her agenda and not get sucked into the vortex that is Trump. She refused to play his game, and she just stayed. She had the lead with the ball. She had the ball with the lead late in the game, and she's holding on to it. She's not going to take a chance.
And how do you think the people will take the kind of explanation which Donald Trump gave about those videotapes?
Oh, I think the election's over. Absent a dramatic shift in fortunes, I think that the tape served to alienate the exact demographic that Trump needs in order to win the election, which is college-educated suburban housewives. And I think this incident resonated with women in a way which other Trump faux pas haven't. Every woman I've spoken to at some point or another has had some type of sexual aggressive assault committed against them. And I think it really resonated with rank and file women, that this is how every woman that I know of has had some problem at work, some problem at school, where an overbearing or leering boss has taken advantage of her. I think this resonated with voters.
But Louis, the fact that Trump decided to bring those 4 women who had accused Bill Clinton, how do you feel? Is there any way in which bringing these women and projecting them and talking about them, will it in any way help Trump to overcome the embarrassment which he has?
The same strategy was used in the 1990s to try to defeat Bill Clinton, and it didn't work. No, I don't think. I think it has no effect upon the electorate. Look, 47% of the people like Hillary. 44% of the people like Trump. And the battle is going to be the people in the middle. And I don't think his efforts last night did anything. It may have solidified his base, but I don't think he did anything to bring other people over to his side at all. No, I don't think that's a good strategy on his part. I think it's going to fail. And I think it's going to fail miserably.
So you think
because
that
there are going to be other disclosures.
So you think that he has solidified?
I lived in New York my whole life.
No, you think that he has solidified his base today? Lewis, you
there
think
will be additional disclosures about Donald Trump. I guarantee it. They will come out.
It could get. You mean to say that it could get uglier than what we have already seen?
Oh yeah. Because there has to be additional disclosures because there were other videotapes, there are other audio tapes, and you'll see them come out in the next week or two. Oh, it can get uglier, and it will get uglier because Trump has nothing to lose. Trump is going to lose his election. So he's going to try to bring down the legitimacy or try to call into question the legitimacy of the entire process.
Okay.
He's already said that if he loses the election was rigged. The way the elections are run in the United States, they're decentralized. The local communities have the responsibility for running the elections, and then the local states.
Okay.
There's no way to rig the election, so to speak.
Okay, Lewis.
Into question.
Okay, Lewis. Okay. Professor Mahapatra, so you think that the issues, the major issues which were supposed to have been which normally, as Chidu was pointing out, which is what is discussed in these elections, have completely taken a backseat?
Actually, most of the issues were raised during the debate, and
yes.
I was watching very carefully, and both the candidates, Hillary as well as Trump, they were sidestepping the main issue and trying to hit each other, and they were actually diverting the entire debate, and they became totally personal. But ultimately, I would think that a large number of respectable Republican men will vote for Hillary most likely, and large number of women candidates will not vote for this guy. The African Americans, large number of Muslim population, and the Hispanic population, they will not vote for Trump. So this kind of opinion poll that you are seeing, 30%, 40%, 45, 35, supporters of the large number of Republican leaders are not coming up as part of the poll. So I think, as Louis was saying, elections are over.
Okay. Chidanand, are you there? Chidanand, Chidu, can you hear me? Okay, I think we'll get back to you. Manoj, okay. Chidu, can you hear me?
Yes, tell me.
Okay. Chidu, from what we have been discussing, from what I have been watching, is it a fair assessment to say that the real issues in this election, the real issues which should have been discussed, have completely taken a back seat? And what will be the impact of that? Another guest on which probably you couldn't hear, he was saying that this election is virtually over after the tapes came out.
Not really. Look, the issues are still there. Fundamentally, what it has boiled down to is there is a large constituency in the United States which feels disenfranchised, ignored, marginalized, and this is essentially, the white male blue collar, workforce in Middle America. They are the true Trump backers, and they are actually, if anything, consolidated behind them. And yesterday, particularly online, you can see an outpouring of support for Trump. We really don't know how large this constituency is. Many people put it at 40%, 35%. And depending on how large it is and what other forces join this, central constituency, Trump's performance depends on that. I don't think the election is over. This is my personal view, and my sense is, Trump, the math has always been against Trump. But the thing is, the fact that Hillary Clinton hasn't been able to close out this election speaks to her weakness. One of the interesting things yesterday from the debate one saw was, after all the allegations that Trump made against Bill Clinton, Hillary really did not address it or, defend her husband. It's awful that your political rival calls your husband a rapist and you don't even address it. I think she should have just taken it head on. But she said she wanted to take the high road But that left, a lot of doubt in people's mind that, there must be some truth to these allegations. But fundamentally, the issues of, jobs and these people feeling marginalized, them feeling that immigrants and, other countries are getting ahead up on them, that issue still remains. And in many ways, the verdict of the election will answer, whether there is any, justification for such feeling.
Okay.
I do believe, though, that Hillary definitely has the edge, but the election is far from over.
Okay. Meera, Shanker, would you agree with him as far as, the kind of defense which Hillary put up? Lewis has a very different take on it, that it's a deliberate strategy.
I think it's deliberate to avoid having Trump shape the debate. She wanted to keep it on track, appear presidential, and not get sucked into these kind of personal allegations. Overall, one of the polls after the debate said 57% felt that she had won it, 34% felt that Trump had won it, but it didn't really impact on their overall support.
Either side didn't gain anything in this from this debate.
In the sense that I suppose, Hillary has become more visible after the first debate and now the second debate. She's kind of consolidating her lead, but her lead is not increasing that substantially. So she still has some work to do to convince her constituency to come out and vote.
Manoj, isn't it quite extraordinary? There was at one point of time in the debate, the Donald Trump actually disagreed with his running mate on Syria.
Well, you see, the thing is that his running mate yesterday said something. He said that he was a bit offended by Trump's remarks. So this was his way of getting back. But what I'd like to say is that, look, let's not think that the election is over. If you look at the figures today, and my figures are different from that of Louis, I think Clinton has got 45% supporters, Trump has about 40%, Gary Johnson has 7%, and Jill Stein has got 2%. And there are about 5 to 6% undecideds. Now, the interesting thing is that both the major party candidates, one is 45, one is 40, they are the lowest that have been there for major party candidates, the proportion of support in recent history. And the problem with Clinton is that, okay, those undecideds, if a new revelation comes up about Hillary, then she gets clobbered because the polls have been very volatile, meaning she's been up and she's been down. And even in the so-called battleground states like Ohio, she was down just last week. She's up again now. So the point I'm trying to get at is that Hillary's own base is not that solid. There are many people, especially the 15 to 35 college-educated women, who say that we should vote for Jill Stein. Now, should some new revelation come out on Hillary, and should she stumble and the votes start going towards Jill Stein and the undecided start going for Trump, you might see President Trump, take the prize in the election. So the point I'm trying to get at is that things are still very, very unstable right now.
Okay.
And as Louis said, there could be more revelations, but there could be more revelations on either side.
Exactly.
Meaning against Hillary, and I think the point he made that Trump has nothing to lose now, So all kinds of stuff may come out, and Hillary's position is not as stable as one should, or as it should be at this point in the election.
Okay, Professor Mahapatra, you seem to be smiling.
Yeah, I'm smiling. I'm smiling because new revelations may come about Hillary Clinton or about even Donald Trump. But I think when too many revelations are there, it is going to be a vote between the personalities. And any ordinary American, when they compare the personality of Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, common sense would say that Hillary Clinton would turn out to be much, much better than Donald Trump. However, having said that, one note I want to underline, that is, right now the opinion polls are about Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. But the American system is so complicated that people, when they vote right now, they are not going to vote for either Hillary or Donald Trump. They are going to vote for the electors. So the electoral college dynamic is so different from the popular votes. So simply by saying that this many percentage are supporting Hillary, this many percentage supporting Donald Trump,
that
don't tell the whole tale.
That doesn't tell the whole tale. And we have seen that in the past, how it doesn't tell the whole tale, how those Chad, hanging chads created the problem. Chidanand, Rajghatta, Chido, there was talk when this video came out a couple of days back. There was talk of even the Donald Trump being asked by the Republican Party to drop out. Is that something which is over now? Is that talk over
pretty
now?
much, well, the talk remains, but I think technically it's not feasible. The fact is he has hijacked the party has signed on to him. There are many individuals within the party who have sort of, bolted from him, notably John McCain. But he has a firm grip on the sort of grassroots, and particularly the Tea Party type grassroots. Like I said, a lot of support from these right-wing elements and Christian conservatives has consolidated, and I don't think this particular disclosure of new tapes has made any difference to that support. A lot of people, you have to understand that the guest just spoke is correct, that the electoral math is different from popular vote, and many of these polls are really 800,000 people polls, telephonic polls, online polls. They don't reflect the true situation. But there is a huge disgruntled constituency in this country. And he's correct that, conventional wisdom would have people believe Hillary is a better candidate. But the fact is, Trump is articulating genuine grievances of a very large section of his party. Everything he says is correct, that the middle class is worse off, that, black people, inner city, particularly his articulation of, the disenfranchisement and the economic degradation of black people is very, very accurate. But sadly, the fact is he's not the guy with the solutions, and his record does not inspire any confidence. In fact, he has no record at all of addressing any economic grievances. So that's where I think Hillary
except the record of evading taxes.
and so many other very dubious
and so many other things. Okay, Meera, Shanker, very quick last words to you. What is it that will happen between now and the next debate, the final debate, 10 days from now? What is it that these two candidates will be trying to do to each other?
Well, I think there may be more revelations, as said, but I think Hillary is going to try to keep the message on the difference in policies between the two candidates, and on Trump's personality vulnerabilities to be the president. Trump will try to survive.
And he has nothing to lose, as Lewis says.
He has nothing to lose. His own base is very solid, and he will also try to set up a kind of, process to delegitimize or undermine Hillary's victory should she win,
yes.
Because he's already talking about the fact that if he loses, then the polls have been rigged.
Okay, I think on that note we'll end. It's not a very savory elections which we are witnessing in US. Another almost a month to go. We'll wait and watch how it will develop. We'll come back after the last debate, which will take place 10 days from now, and see how things have worked out till then. Thanks to all my guests. Please keep watching. We'll come back with Andhrush in the big picture, same time tomorrow.